looks like it's gonna rain. Well, we don't wear skimpy bikinis. Hell, it frightens me when I take my shirt off. There's definitely no one pregnant here. This is motor sailing for old dudes. We do live on a boat, and we do cruise extensively along the Australian coast. Join us and visit some great destinations. Learn how to look after a boat and live off grid. It might even get you enthused to do the same thing. Hey, stay out there till you can't. Pretty easy one this morning. We're heading out of strong tide passage, pushing a little bit of tide at the moment, but we'll get that behind us in a minute, and then we're going to plot a course up here to Curlew Island. And that'll be our destination for today. It's only a short trip, it's only about 20 nautical miles. The crew's very comfortable at the moment. We're anchored on the northwest side of Lingham Island. It's right next to Curlew Island. Great sandy beach here. And we're sort of tucked up in a corner out of the swell a bit. It's got to deal with swells around these islands and wind against the tide. When the tide changes, it might become a bit too swelly in here for us. We'll just have to wait and see. But I've anchored in 3.6 metres of water. Now, lots of tide running in now this area, up to about 6 metres. So this is how I calculate whether we're going to have enough water to stay here or not. So most chart plotters have a tide function. So on this plotter I go to display, more, and then if I scroll down to the bottom there you can see tides. I've got that highlighted. So this gives us a tide curve for today. So if I scroll across, I can get the time. It is now 1:25. So that's 13:30. If I scroll down to the thing, so at the moment we've got 2.78, but it's going to drop to 0.39. So if we take that 0.39 away from the 2.78 we've got, it's going to drop 2.39 metres. So we're going to lose 2.39 metres. That's the surface of the water, and I draw 0.7, so I'd really have to allow another metre to be safe. So let's say that that's 3.39. So I'd be looking at having 3.39 metres of water at the moment. So if we go back to our chart, you can see I've only got 3.3, 3.4. So doing these calculations, I don't think we're going to have enough depth here at low tide. So what I could do is up anchor and move a bit further out into deeper water, which may put us back into some area where it's affected by swell, or we could find another spot. But what I probably are going to do, I'll just wait until the tide is getting pretty low, and I'll keep the plotter on, or the echo sounder on. When we get down to about 1.5, I'll look at moving it, because it looks like the tide has run off a fair bit, but there are really big high and low tides here, especially at the moment with spring tides happening, so there's a lot of water flowing in now this area. But anyway, I think what I'll do this afternoon is just keep an eye on it, and we'll see how we go. Be a good spot if we could stay here tonight, and if it stays like this. Well, we'll just have to see what happens when the tide turns. Good sandy beach. And yeah, it shows some promise, but you just never know. When the tide turns, it might get pretty uncomfortable. Good thing about it is pretty easy to escape from here. We can sort of motor out and maybe get to the Dukes or something if we have to. Well, it's all happening. A big run goes into something here. What do you think?
I think it's probably a shark, but it might be a big GT, you never know. Get the net, please, darling.
I've got to get the footage.
Never mind about the bloody photo.
I've got to get the footage as well. I'll get down on the duckboard, eh?
Into the valley. Brilliant eating, but it's bloody hard to catch. Oh, you don't want to lose it now.
Good. Yep.
Excellent. Oh, what a fish.
It's a good
That's
fish,
great.
Eh? Hold that a minute.
Look at this beautiful GT. Wow. I'll be happy with that one.
And they're good eating, you reckon?
Yes, they're beautiful.
What are you barking at, eh? Nice fish, Gay.
Thanks.
Won't have to fish for 2 weeks now.
GT. That's what we wanted.
Not only does she catch them, but she cleans them and cooks them. What a woman. We're just leaving Lingham Island. Had half of a comfortable night there. First half was a bit rolly, it's a bit open, so a bit of swell getting in. But a lovely little island, we had it to ourselves. We're just skipping up to the Dukes now. It's about 16 nautical miles, so you never know how long it's going to take you up here, because the tide just runs all over the place. So sometimes you're going to be pushing it, you'll be down to 3 knots. Other times you'll be skipping along at 7, but we haven't got any wind for sailing today, so it's just motors only. From the Dukes, I think the next day we're going to head up to Curlew. We've got to find somewhere to hide. There's 30 knots of wind coming later in the week, so we're sort of thinking we might get up to Curlew. It's not a bad anchorage up there, and hide out of the wind for 2 or 3 days. Anyhow, beautiful day today. You've got to enjoy this while it's here, because I think it's going to get overcast and wet tomorrow. Anyhow, hope you're enjoying the trip so far. What are you doing, Mon? Making a mess. Hey, what are you doing? So trip this morning, we've just left Lingham Island here, and we're navigating out past White Rocks. That's just a bit of reefy area there, I've got to miss that, so we've got to navigate out to here, then we're going to head north. So from our position here up to this little group of islands. Some good little anchorages in there, and we'll probably stay there tonight and a bigger trip tomorrow. It's about where we are on the East Australian coast. We're just anchored off Marble Island in between Marble and Hunter. The passage here, the tide really rips through like at about 4 knots. But we've just found a little spot where it sort of runs outside of where we're anchored, and there's a bit of an eddy here. There's not much current here at all. We've got a great beach for Monty, and it's a very scenic little area and no swell, so that's what we're looking for. So hopefully when the tide turns it'll stay like this and we'll have a pretty pleasant night. I have anchored here once before, and I think it was pretty good. Anyway, it was a good trip over here. The weather is starting to close in a bit. There's a bit of cloud building up, so I think we're going to get a couple of wet days. So we'll head over to the beach and have a bit of a walk, because it might be the last walk we get for a day or two. A bit of rain around. Very spectacular scenery here though, so it's a great area. The Duke Group. Well, this is Marble Island we're on, and you can see on the beach here there is lots of marble around. Pretty untouched though. Well, we're having a little shift this afternoon. The wind's dropped right out. It was a pretty good spot where we were. There wasn't much swell there, but as the tide went out, there's a lot of rocks came out of the water, a little bit too close to the boat, so we're going to head around to the other side of Hunter Island and anchor up there. Probably a little bit more conducive, and hopefully there's no swell getting in there. We'll have a pretty good night. There wasn't much swell getting in where we were, but just a few too many rocks around the place, so we've moved out and heading around to Hunter. Bit of a miserable day here at Hunter Island, but the forecast's all right for today, so we're going to run up to Curlew. Blew here last night. I reckon it blew up around 25 knots, but it was a bit uncomfortable, but not too bad. But I think Curlew will give us better shelter from the wind that's coming. And it's a really wet day, so good day to be travelling, I guess. So the trip for today, we left from the Duke Islands down here, and this is our position here. We're heading up to Curlew Island. We've got about 3.5 to 4 hours to travel. The overcast conditions are giving the sea a bit of a green hue to it, but we're not going to get much assistance off the wind today. But it is supposed to get up tonight, so up to around 20 knots later this afternoon, they're forecasting.
Charger is in the navigation station up aft, and you're probably going to turn that